Teddy.
Okay, here we go. Welcome to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, well-known radio sports personality Bruce McGowan, and Vern Glenn of CBS affiliate KPIX-TV in San Francisco. Today's show is going to be very special because we have two guests. Our first one is going to be Sam Spear, who is a horse racing expert. We're going to talk a little bit about California Chrome and the upcoming Preakness and Belmont Stakes. And then in the second half, we are going to introduce Reza Pakravan, who is a cyclist, but not just any cyclist. This guy cycled across the Sahara Desert. Unbelievable. Very interesting story. We're going to get into it with him. We'll also have a little bit of time toward the end. We'll talk a little bit about Shelly Sterling, Donald Sterling's soon-to-be ex-wife. And she's trying to fight to keep her share of the Clippers. We'll talk about that and see if that's possible. Basically, we don't think so. Touch on just a little tiny bit of Michael Sam. We just didn't have enough time in the show today to cover all of this. Too many guests, too much fun. All right, if you have any questions, you can email Edward at sportsecon101.com, and we'll get back to you. Also, each commercial break, we're going to ask sports trivia questions, where the first three emails with the correct answer win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. And the vacations are not sponsored by the radio station, but by Lighthouse Resort. And the vacations are free. Their only request is a $75 cleaning fee to cover housekeeping expenses. Such a deal. You can also listen to Sports Econ 101 on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Sports Byline USA, and CRN. And today's trivia theme, is good, since we have Sam Spear on, is going to be horse racing's Triple Crown. And this segment of Sports Econ 101 is sponsored by Pacific Private Money, providing mortgage investments that are currently yielding 8% secured by real estate. It doesn't get any more conservative than that. I've got my IRA with them. Very happy. Actually, I've been getting 8.5%. Check them out at pacificprivatemoney.com. And don't touch that dial. You are listening to Sports Econ 101, and we will be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn.
And they're racing.
Yeah, and Bruce McGowan.
And they're off and running.
There we go.
Down the stretch they come.
Now, you got to wonder, why are we talking like that? Well, there's a reason. We have a special guest, Sam Spear, who is a horse racing expert on. Why? Because the Preakness is
coming up.
And then the long one, the Belmont Stakes. See, I know a little bit about horse racing.
Okay.
Sam, welcome to Sports Econ 101.
Happy to be with you.
Good. Okay, I got to ask a quick question on this Kentucky Derby, okay? When I was a kid, I remember that the best bet to make, and I guess you could do it on the Preakness and the Belmont Stakes, is betting on, quote, the field, which are like the 15 of the worst horses, and you bet them to show, and that's usually a good bet. But I couldn't figure out which almost. But I couldn't figure out which horses were in the field this time.
But Sam bet on the California Chrome, didn't you say?
We don't have the field anymore because we have 20 horses.
Yeah.
Everyone gets a slot.
That's why I couldn't find it.
Betting the field used to be good because they used to run more than 20.
Mm.
So you just took the highest odds. The horses that were put in the field usually went off at high odds.
Hey, I got to ask you, how did that little horse win? I mean, we'd heard he was the favorite. We heard that it was a great story. The owner celebrated his 61st birthday the day he won. But, he was...
I believe it's the oldest trainer, too, with
Yeah,
77. Yeah.
Yeah, but that little horse, he was tough. He was tough down the stretch.
Well,
he
he's
pulled
not
away.
the most royalty-bred horse of all time. But as you know, we just finished the NFL draft. There'll be players making the NFL teams that were not drafted. Mike Piazza was, I think, 250th, only because he knew, Lasorda knew his father.
That's right.
So there are people, and there are horses that are overlooked, but this definitely was coming from, the mare cost $8,000. They bred it to a sire for $2,500 at Harris Farms. And here, with 10-5 invested, they win the Kentucky Derby.
That's amazing.
And along the way, they turned down, for 49% of the horse, they turned down $6 million.
Wow.
I always looked at the hind quarters of a horse and bet on that, figuring that's where the legs come in.
Right. Well, it's important to have the rear end of the engine and the power that you need. But
See?
this horse has been well trained and conditioned by our chairman, a veteran jockey, former jockey and trainer, and not a former trainer anymore, but he had cut back in the amount of horses he was training in '77. And to come up with this horse, he's done a great job because he gave him a nice foundation, racing 7 times as a 2-year-old. So he went into his 3-year-old campaign and running the preps for the Kentucky Derby, well conditioned, and then he started winning these races, and very impressive style each time, as he did in the Kentucky Derby when he opened up in the stretch and had a 5-length lead.
Well, all these horses, these colts, they need to have a driver, and in this case, a rider. How much of a difference? I don't know whether it's furlongs, lengths, whatever. How much of a difference is it between a good jockey and a great jockey?
Well, all things being equal, you want the best manager, the best coach, the best jockey. They can be the 5% that you need, but you definitely have to have the players, the horses, as they say, you need the horses. But in this case, Victor Espinosa picked up the horse, and he began this streak we're on right now of 5 in a row. They haven't lost since he's become the jockey. Victor started his career at Bay Meadows and Golden Gate Fields. He was the leading apprentice rider here, and finished second to Russell Bays a couple of times before he took his tack down south. And our chairman had a period there about 6 straight years of finishing second to Jerry Hollendorf as the trainer before he went down south. And so it's important to have a very good jockey. Now, Victor also was familiar with Churchill Downs. He had won the Derby on War Emblem back in 2002, so experience for that racetrack was important. He seems to fit this horse very well. And going into the race, I wanted him to break well, but not break on the lead. Sit right off the early pace. Don't get in any trouble. Then make your move around the half-mile pole. Put yourself in position, and then turn for home. Take off and open up, and that's exactly what happened in the field of 20. We will only have, I say, a field of 9 or 10 in the Preakness.
And what are his odds for winning the Preakness?
Well, tomorrow they will draw post position, and they will lay the morning line. But I think that he'll be a prohibitive favorite, meaning I think he'll be like 4 to 5 or 3 to 5.
Now, Sam, tell us why the Belmont is always you see so many horses win the first 2. I was lucky enough.
It's the longest.
Well, it's not just the longest, but there's more to it than that. It's the pressure. But I'm curious to get your thoughts about it, because I'm not a horse racing expert, but I was lucky enough to cover the entire Triple Crown of horse racing when I worked in New York one year, 1981, when Pleasant Colony won the first 2 legs and then got to the Belmont. And I remember walking down to the paddock area with the rest of the media, and the horse was he had this coat of sweat. And everybody says, oh, he's washy, something's wrong with that horse. And of course, he did not finish even close to the front of the pack. And I'm wondering why, Edward mentioned that it's a longer race, but it's more than that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is more than that, but the distance is important because, you see, for whatever reason, the athletes of today, they don't box 15 rounds anymore. They don't go 9 innings. And we're not training horses to go a distance to ground as much. We're training more, we're breeding more for speed. So we're running 5.5 furlongs, 5 furlongs, 6 furlongs. To win a cross-country race, as opposed to a 100-yard dash, as you know, you don't run real hard at the beginning. You pace yourself and have that big kick at the end. Well, for most of these horses, they haven't been bred to cover that distance, that 1.5 miles. So after they go a mile, some of them hit the wall.
And Sam, if the field is a lot muddier than normal, wouldn't that change quite a bit so that maybe you start looking
Well,
at
I'm not sure what the weather's going to be on Saturday in Baltimore. I know it rained in the East Coast earlier this week. It rained the week before the Kentucky Derby, but by the time they get it, unless it rains that day, that afternoon, like it rained an hour before the race for Smarty Jones. Before that happens, they'll have that track nice and fast, and so we should have a fast track. Now, if it was to be sloppy, meaning that there was water on top of the track, that would favor speed, and that shouldn't hurt California Chrome at all. Because what you want to do is get out on the lead and kick the mud back in the face of the horses fairly.
On the subject of California Chrome, I was doing the highlights that day of the Kentucky Derby on the TV side, and as I was voicing over the highlights, I was thinking, and then I later said on the air, I said, boy, man, all of these Kentucky Derbies, I don't know, what, 170 some, only 4 California bred have won the whole thing, with California Chrome being the first one, get this, since what, 1962? Is that right?
Yeah, there's been 140 Kentucky Derbies.
Okay, there you go.
This was the 4th one, the first one since 1962.
Wow.
Why?
And,
It's because they're all at the beach.
Because what you do is you have to have best mares, and the best mares are in Kentucky. You breed, you try to breed the best of the best. So Kentucky's known as the bluegrass country. Kentucky is where they produce most of the champions. Now there are horses that won from New York and Florida and Virginia and Maryland, but the majority of them come from Kentucky. That's where the best mares are, and that's where they bring the sires to mate. So that's what it's been. So this is a tremendous boost for California racing. To have a Calbred win, it might encourage people to get in the business of owning a Calbred, because there's a lot of bonus money if you are a Calbred. We have a lot of races strictly for Calbreds, and so there's like $16 million extra in purses and $14 million extra in breeding, meaning being the stallion and the owner and the breeder. So there's a lot of incentive to own a Calbred, but it was important to have somebody win so that you can remind people it pays to be a Calbred.
Great. It's Sam Spear, horse racing expert.
He
Thank
is.
you so much
He
for
is.
joining us
Hey, Sam,
in the
had
studio.
great insights, man.
Yeah, good stuff. And Sam's been around this area
I'll tell you
forever.
what, why don't you listen to this trivia question, okay? The theme is horse racing's Triple Crown.
Oh, okay.
Here's our first question. And actually, these are pretty
Sam will know the
easy.
answer.
But don't bark it out, Sam.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Keep it quiet. Okay, in 1978, Affirmed won the Triple Crown. Which horse came in second in all 3 races? The first 3 emails with the correct answer win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort, which, by the way, I did pick the trifecta in that race.
Did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did. The first 3, so email edward@sportsecon101.com the answer to this question. In 1978, Affirmed won the Triple Crown. Which horse came in second in all 3 races? Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101 will be right back with a very interesting cyclist. Figured I could introduce you that.
Aladar, wasn't it?
Aladar.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Affirmed
yeah.
Aladar. Who came in third? I believe it.
I do not know.
You remember
Sam,
that?
you still with us? Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Sam, that was real good. I mean, I could have, I could go on and on with Sam.
By the way, the jockey was Steve Coffin.
Steve
Coffin.
Coffin,
Yeah.
yeah.
What's he doing these days, Sam?
Steve Coffin, he won the Triple Crown.
What's he doing these days?
Then later he went to California,
Mhm.
right? And he lost 110 straight races.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he kind of died. He was, I
$6
remember.
million man and winning all the races there back
Wow.
east. So he was getting too heavy to be a jockey here in the States, and he got a big offer to go to England and Europe and ride for Robert Sangster, and he paid him a huge amount of money to be his personal jockey.
Wow.
So he went over to England. So when I first interviewed him, he had a Kentucky accent, being born and raised in Kentucky. And then the second time I interviewed him, he was traveling on an all-star team of jockeys for the International Jockey Competition. He had a British accent.
Wow.
And then the last time we chatted, he was back home running a farm in Kentucky. He'd regained his Kentucky accent.
Ah,
that's
I
funny.
see. Yeah. Hey,
Sam,
now how many? Now let's see. We had Affirmed in '78. We had
No, don't say anything. Don't say because I got some more.
I'm just trying to think of the Triple Crown winners in my lifetime. Are there only
Secretary.
2?
No, yeah, because I do have a question. No, don't say it because I do have one in 1977.
Okay, because the fact is, in the 70s, we had 3 Triple Crowns.
Yeah.
3, okay.
Exactly,
Ah,
We
okay.
haven't had any since.
All right.
That was a great era
I was.
to have 3 champions in a decade, and then not have one since then.
Yeah, amazing. Sam, thank you so much for joining us.
To other sports, it's not that easy.
Thank you so much for joining us, Sam.
Okay.
Sam,
I'll look forward to seeing you at the race.
That's right. Hey, I'll see you sooner than later, Sam.
Okay.
Take care, Sam. It's good talking to you.
Thank you.
All right, man.
Good guy. Very good
Very
guy.
nice guy, too.
Yep.
Okay, so let me get. Okay.
Gas station.
All right, so
Okay.
Bruce, I'm going to give you
Okay.
this.
Me.
Oh, am I sliding over?
Yeah, well, yeah. That's a good way of doing it.
All right, there we go.
And if you want to slide over here so that the camera can see on there too, that would be great.
So is it a main focus of the regarding the Sahara, or mainly regarding the last expedition?
Well, I was thinking the
You know, it's
Sahara.
almost too bad that camera couldn't fit right here, because through the glass you'd be able to get almost everybody, but through the reflection.
Are you going to have to redo this?
No, it's on. It's on.
Oh.
It's just.
I just
gotta
want to
turn
see
this
if it
one
was
on.
in the way.
Is he off?
This one's
Turn him
on.
on.
Do I need to
Turn him on.
switch?
Wait a minute.
Boy,
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there
Ready?
he is.
Ah, I got
There he is.
All right.
No, we're good. We're good.
We're
All
good.
right.
I think it was a little.
And if for some reason it shorts out again, you just have to kind of hold it.
No, I'll just leave it alone. I won't touch it.
And it's all
Yeah.
Does he need these?
yes.
Here.
Thank you.
There you go.
It always makes life easier.
All right.
So we'll come back with the trivia question, and
Okay.
then we'll
Hang on,
introduce.
hang on. Let me wait.
Oh, do I need to clap twice again?
Yeah, gotta have you do the type.
Should I do my?
Uh,
Tell me when you're ready.
okay.
What is that Spanish?
You
You got speed?
Spanish
Can we
dancing.
get
Yeah,
just
get
a
it.
hair?
Yeah, because he's getting wants
What
like
is the
Good.
Spanish dancing that's real popular? The
Yeah,
there you go.
No.
Flamenco.
Flamenco. There you go. He's gonna do
All
the
right.
flamenco.
Fandango.
Fandango.
That's a movie thing.
That's like a
Ready?
favorite.
That's the Castaneda.
I can't say it. That's right. Okay, here we go. I do.
Oh, good.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn
Mm-hmm.
and Bruce McCowan.
Yes, sir.
That was kind of fun having Sam Spear on.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a terrific guy.
Yeah.
And knows something about everything.
But horse
You
horse
really-
racing is his passion.
But that's his baby. Yeah.
I wanted him to give me, like, all the trifecta so I could bet on it.
Yeah, well,
Well, maybe before the race. Okay. We went to the first commercial break. We asked this trivia question. Again, the theme was horse racing's Triple Crown. In 1978, Affirmed won the Triple Crown. Which horse came in second in all three races?
Brucey?
It was Aladar.
Aladar.
Poor Aladar. Can you imagine coming in second?
All
Well, hey,
three.
I wonder if there's been a horse that's won second place in all three races.
Well, what about geez, let me think here.
Don't say it. That may be one of our trivia questions.
The next trivia
The
question.
next trivia
Well,
question.
what was the movie that just came out last
Secretariat.
couple of- Yeah.
Secretariat.
Yeah, was it
Seabiscuit.
yeah.
Secretariat.
No. Seabiscuit's way back in
Yeah,
the 50s.
yeah.
Or 40s.
No.
What's the one with Diane Lane?
That's
Seabiscuit.
Seabiscuit.
Yeah.
That's,
No, Secretariat.
No,
Secretariat.
that's Secretariat.
That's the
Secretariat
Secretariat,
was
yeah. Diane
37. You know, Secretariat died at the age of something like 32, and they did a autopsy. His heart was like twice
huge, right?
Yeah, anyway. Speaking of huge hearts, this guy, our next guest.
Okay, so we this is an odd show, an interesting show because we have a second guest. Usually we only have one, but we have to have Reza on here. And Reza's last name is Pakravan, right? Did I
Yes,
say that right?
right.
Very good. Okay. Now, Reza is a cyclist, but he's not just any cyclist. This guy raced across the Sahara Desert, not
What?
on a camel.
Are you
but
crazy?
On a bicycle.
What?
Is that what your mom asked you? Are you crazy?
I get it all the time.
Yeah.
Was that 1,400 miles or something?
God, how many gallons of water did you have on your back? as you
I lost
pedaled across?
count.
Wow.
Jeez.
Okay, now, but before we get into this,
Gotta have a special suit or something like that to keep your some
I'm sure people,
coolant.
I'm sure people are looking and going, okay, well, if you could have one thing, what would it be? Like, canteen, or maybe a white covering to cover the sun. Me, I would have a Chevy car door. Because when it gets hot, I'd roll down the window.
That's right.
Okay, so tell us about training and going across the Sahara Desert.
Well, the idea came about when I was in Nepal and was cycling. But when I get back to England, I decided to develop this idea. And we had a very cold winter in England in 2011. I remember temperature was hovering around 32 degrees, and it was quite a cold climate to training. And the Sahara Desert was 115 degrees, so you can imagine the difference. I have to get a bit of a science behind the ambition, and got a university on board, University of Westminster Sports Medicine Department. They actually created the Sahara condition.
Wow.
And they put me into that climate. So I was training partially that climate to just get ready for to basically survive on a bicycle in the Sahara. 12 hours of cycling a day, which involved lots of pushing, and you losing significant amount of fluid.
Sure.
So you got to be sort of accustomed to that sort of climate.
Yeah, how much water weight do you lose when you train like that? A day.
Water do I lose? What do you mean?
When you sweating that water weight out. I mean, that's,
Well, I take about 9 liters of water a day.
wow.
That's like 2 gallons, 2+ gallons. Yeah.
Wow.
Whew, that's amazing. I saw the video. He's got a video. Just really quickly, people wanted to check you out. What is the video?
Yeah, it's www.cyclingsahara.com. You go to the media tab, and there is a BBC documentary made of the trip called "The Man Who Cycled the Sahara." It's on the top of the page. You won't miss it.
And
Anybody try and talk you out of it?
His insurance man.
How about you? Are you married, Reza?
No, I'm
I
not.
was going to say your wife is
yeah,
probably. Yeah.
exactly.
Actually, talking about insurance, I was working for an insurance company.
Ah.
I went to get a kidnap and ransom insurance, and not even one single insurance company wanted insurance because of the danger it
Of
posed
course,
in that
yeah.
area.
But here's the thing: is that you didn't just go straight through because there was some dangerous conditions. You had to kind of ride around. You actually had to go to South Africa to come around.
No, I had to. It was a Guinness World Record attempt, so I had to negotiate with them to do it in 2 legs. So the first leg was done in Algeria, and the second leg was done in Sudan.
Wow.
And I have to just go around the danger zone because just before I got there, the Al Qaeda Maghreb, it's an Al Qaeda branch that's working in operating in North Africa, and they take over the area in Niger. They kidnapped lots of French mine workers. A British engineer got his head chopped off, and it was very, very difficult situation for me to just go there, and it was quite dangerous.
You couldn't just say, time out, I got to go through this desert, and then
Yeah.
continue on with your operation.
Guys, just settling through and just hold your
It's
fire.
bad enough to have to go through a
Okay.
desert and have somebody, with a machete saying, "I'm going to chop you."
Yeah,
Of course, that could make you go
'Cause you're an
faster.
infidel. Hey,
Wow.
this guy though,
Make
this guy was a really good athlete though. He played a lot of basketball, right?
Yes,
before.
I did. Up until age of 24, I was playing semi-professional basketball. And I decided to just put it aside and join the rat race and join the financial industry. And 10 years later, I just realized that I'm just missing out in life that I always wanted to do, and being a full-time adventurer. And I started starting from micro adventure and just sort of build it up to the sort of big adventures.
Okay, so if I go to the gym and I have my, let's say, iPad with me, and I click on your video, can I ride the bike, watch your video, and get sort of like the same rush?
I'm not sure.
I don't mean to make light of it because it's awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
really, the only reason I'm teasing like this is because my jaw dropped when I saw the video, and I see him pushing the bike through sandstorms.
Yeah.
Just like you would imagine.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't just because the thing is when everyone thinks about the Sahara Desert, you think about riding on sand, but it's not exactly like that all the time.
It kind of looks like Mars, doesn't it? I mean, it really does.
It
Those
does.
pictures that you see of Mars that are transmitted thousands of miles, it's what the Sahara Desert looks like.
Exactly. It's just surreal. It's an unlimited horizon. It's just like it's infinite. It's like infinite amount of sand and nothing.
That must have made you feel good though about having you had a driver
Yeah.
who stayed how far back from you? A mile?
No, he was having his own schedule. So we were supposed to meet every 20 miles. But he was a tribal man, so he didn't have any good idea of the miles and kilometers. So sometimes that happened to be 50 miles. Sometimes that happened to you seeing like 10 miles. So he was sort of touch and go. But I needed to have him as a backup and support because it was impossible to carry
Of
that
course.
amount of food.
Well, if you would have just had a tow rope and had him put in neutral, you could have towed him the whole way, and then you wouldn't have lost him at all.
No, but I mean, it was very essential to have him on
Of
board
course.
because he's part of the Tuareg tribe, and Tuareg people that actually belong to that desert and they live there, and surviving in that condition. I mean, if you're a Bear Grylls, probably you can do it, but an office worker like me, just getting out there and experiencing that situation, it was all about survival. And having him on board, he was the man that actually taught me how to survive in a tribal manner. I mean, for example, one thing that I didn't know is like having very sweet tea. It's something that actually allows you to overcome your dehydration. That's how they survive. They
Sweet tea?
Sweet tea. Yeah,
Yeah.
They
Wow.
drink lots of sweet tea with lots of mint in it.
I'm just wondering the mental part. mean, I'd be scared to death to even start this thing, and just realizing that you can't just stop halfway through and then go, I'm done with this. I want to go home. I mean, how do you overcome that mental part?
Well, a lot of it, just getting to the starting point is 70% of the attempt, 70% of the effort. You've got to do so much to, by the time you get, it's not only the physical training, it's also mental, it's also getting sponsorship in place, getting all the logistic plan. How do you trust a guy in the Sahara Desert to just, for a first time, you meet this guy, and he's supposed to be with you for the next 15 days. And what does it actually take to cycle the Sahara Desert? So by the time you get to the starting point, you should have answered all those questions.
Yeah.
So the fact that a sandstorm coming in front of you, or other obstacles, or getting a latitude wrong, and you have to cycle through the sand dunes and carry your bicycle, that sort of thing really shouldn't break you down, because you have to do your homework properly.
Yeah, how much did you have to pay that guy to follow you? Basically?
Actually, very small amounts. It's about $20 a day.
Wow.
But that's a lot of money for those people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the communication setup like?
Oh, that's a very interesting point. He was speaking a tiny bit of French and Arabic and Berber, which is the language of those sort of people in North Africa. And my command of all these three languages was absolutely zero. So somehow we managed to communicate. At the beginning it was very difficult, but we somehow sign language, and we started understanding each other. So it was a great man.
Now you're.
Nighttime you have a flare gun.
I was going to say, Rez is from Iran originally, but you're a British subject, so you've lived in Iran and England, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
The language is good. We speak Farsi, so they speak Arabic, so it's completely different.
Oh, wow.
Good point. Tell you what, we're going to cut to our second commercial break here. Stay with us for a while. I'm sure we got a few questions to ask you here.
Like, what do you eat out there in the desert?
Yeah,
besides the scorpions and all that stuff, mezcal.
One of those little creepy, crawly, lizards or something.
I'd say witchetty grubs, but that's Australia.
Yeah.
So. Okay, here's the second commercial break trivia question again. The theme is horse racing's Triple Crown. Before Secretariat in 1973, you had to go back 25 years to find the last Triple Crown winner. Which horse won Triple Crown in 1948? The first three emails with the correct answer win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Email Edward at sportsecon101.com the answer to this question. Before Secretariat in 1973, you had to go back 25 years to find the last Triple Crown winner. Which horse won the Triple Crown in 1948? And when we come back, we're going to ask more questions of Reza Pakravan. Hey, my Farsi's pretty good, isn't it? Yeah. We're going to ask you some more questions about cycling and about the Sahara Desert and what's your next adventure, okay?
Sure.
Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101 will be right back.
I was going to say War Admiral?
That was my guess.
Yeah. But that could be.
Where's that even further back?
I think it's probably because it's right after World War II. We were
No looking it up on the internet.
No.
We were flush in the aftermath of World War II. I grew up as a kid. My dad was a fighter pilot during the war. So yeah, over in Japan. So as a kid growing up in the 50s and early 60s, those guys that fought that war, now all of them are gone. They were our dads, and they were our heroes. So and then when we got off into the mess of Vietnam, that changed everything. It was like,
I know. These guys instead of coming home like heroes, people got spit on and stuff.
Well, unfortunately, it was fought under false pretenses. We went over there and killed 1 million people and had 58,000. I mean, it's just like most wars.
I heard it's with the Korean War, people didn't even really know what it happened. In fact, my father-in-law was on Pork Chop Hill.
Oh, jeez. Oh, that's brutal.
That's really brutal. Here's a little fun statistic. How many bullets per person were used per kill? So basically, take how many bullets were used.
Probably about 40 or 50.
50,000 bullets per person.
Wow.
Are you for real?
So
Wow.
so there's a lot of.
Well, you shoot enough out there, you're going to hit something eventually.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Is May 27th a Thursday?
May
That
27th
would
is a
be
Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday. All right.
May
There,
27th is Tuesday. Yeah.
I have 3 prospective dates to be a ball dude at the Giants.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
I can do it Tuesday the 27th. I can do the day game Wednesday the 28th.
Do the day game.
Or I could do
day game.
I like the day game.
Yeah, day game is more fun.
Does that mean when foul ball comes, you can
I've done it before.
Oh man.
Yeah,
I
just
always
before.
wanted to be like. You see that video? You saw the video, right? The girl. It's like a B league or something, and it's a foul ball in left field, and the left fielder is like he knows he can't get to it, so he doesn't do it. The ball girl jumps up with her left foot.
Oh, scales it and then
scales
catches
it.
it. Yeah,
I mean, the
Amazing.
timing is just
amazing.
Right.
incredible.
I mean, at first, I think the thought was that it was doctored.
It's
But,
just seemed like
yeah.
it, but
I
boy,
tell you, that was a fun game last night. I was out there, and Tim Lincecum looked like vintage Tim Lincecum. And
Wow.
this new guy they brought in, the first hit was a giant home run, second, and it was into the bay, and the second one drove in 2 runs and broke up the tie. It's amazing. I love that story.
yeah.
So, the great thing about baseball, you don't-
36, 10 strikeout games, something like that. in
yeah,
his career.
I know.
Yeah.
He always does it to the Braves. He had 14 against them in the playoffs a couple years ago.
Yeah, Razor is bitch.
Yeah, they are. That's
Yeah.
true.
So this will be your Mr. Involvement.
Yeah,
Being a
there's
ball-
on YouTube. There's a Mr. Involvement ball dude.
Is
thing
there?
on the, yeah, and Kruko. He was just merciless.
Aw.
Because I went to field a couple and one, got me off the chin and just
Oh.
yeah.
Those balls coming down the line are fast.
Yeah.
I don't know. Softball's one thing. Baseball's another.
Yeah,
thing.
some shots down there.
Yeah, these guys, when they hit it hard, it's
Yeah.
foul. It's it's
Yeah,
either get out of the way or
so hard,
yeah.
You gotta.
Yeah, I want to see you like dive, and get in the stands.
Well, some of the old guys do that, and they take the pratfalls, but it's great. I mean, just the
But it's
front.
the pop-ups in foul territory. They tell you, you get your stool and get the hell out of the way because these guys, you can make a play on it.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
there was Kirk Gibson, I think, was playing third base, and the umpire was just kind of watching him like this too, and he was getting in the way. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys ready?
Yep.
No.
Okay, no, not yet. Fun show.
Yeah. Good
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
Russ.
Oh, I didn't even see the second camera. Oh, I didn't
Oh.
see that.
Yeah.
Oh, you got it covered.
He's
Yeah.
He is a professional.
professional. That's all right. How about 3
Okay,
claps
give me
this
2
time?
claps. Give me 3. I don't care.
No, I like it.
You're so good. I love you.
Okay, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. We're having too much fun here. We got Vern Glenn in the studio. We got Bruce McGowan in the studio. We have Reza Pakravan in the studio. Okay, when we got to the second commercial break, we asked this trivia question. Again, the theme is horse racing's Triple Crown. Before Secretariat in 1973, you had to go back 25 years to find the last Triple Crown winner. Which horse won the Triple Crown in 1948? And both of you answered
Yeah.
We said War Admiral.
no.
No,
You remember
okay.
War Admiral was with Seabiscuit.
Ah,
Oh, okay.
All
All right.
But you have heard of this horse?
This isn't Seabiscuit.
No, but what happens when the policeman pulls you over? You get a
Citation.
citation.
There you go.
Citation.
Citation.
Ah, yes.
Okay,
There you
now
go.
we have in the studio, again, as I mentioned, we have Reza Pakravan, who's a cyclist who cycled across the Sahara Desert.
And also cycled across the desert in Chile, is it?
No, I walked a desert in Chile.
You walked the desert in Chile.
And this
Oh,
guy, jeez.
Patagonia Desert.
Patagonia Desert.
Wow.
And how long is that?
It takes 30 days from Tierra del Fuego to Bariloche.
Did you
Four.
carry your bike with you, or
No,
Just walked.
Just walked.
Just
Dude walked.
What is that, 400 or 500 miles?
Yes,
800 miles.
On his bare feet.
You're doing
I'm just
20
kidding.
20 miles backwards and in a sack.
No, I'm
That's
telling you,
right.
20 miles a day. I backpacked 20 miles when I was 22 up in the Sierras one day, and we had to take a break in the middle of the day and took a nap, literally. I've never been so tired.
See, I don't know how you guys can do that. For me, it's the 100-yard marathon. Not dash or even run. It's a marathon. So I don't know how you guys can have that kind of endurance. My wife is like that.
Like I said, I was 22 years old, so
Yeah.
that was 40 years ago.
I have a 2-part question. First of all, you got to wear any like sunblocks, something like that, protect your skin when you're doing this. And then the second one is nutrition. I mean, you have to eat something relatively healthy so your body can like feed off of that as you go. I mean, because the burgers at the big old burgers at the finish, you got to get there. You know?
That was the incentive
Yeah,
for him to finish.
Exactly. Yeah.
Actually, if you get your hands on a burger, it would be a lucky day because you need calories.
Yeah.
Like you need 6,000 calories a day, and burgers
Wow.
are a very good source of calorie. But obviously, in the middle of the Sahara Desert,
No.
it's very difficult to get all of the burgers. So
Only
I,
in
a camel burger, but
only in a mirage.
I was relying on my ration packs.
Yeah.
And, those ration packs give you a significant amount of calories. Like one portion is about 1,000 calories. So I need to have quite a few of them. After a while, I just realized that actually the diet that this guy, that my guide, having in the Sahara Desert, his diet is just designed for that climate. He's having lots of couscous and some meats and veg.
What is couscous?
It's sort of
like a rice.
Yeah, it's,
okay.
it's kind of sort of a grain. So it is a wheat.
Okay.
And sort of very crushed, very small pieces.
Okay.
And you pour it into hot water. And it's just
It's like a risotto type
Oh, sure.
consistency,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. And yeah, it's sort of powdered.
Yeah.
And that was a key. I started putting my ration packs away and started embracing his food, and he was sharing his food because he had plenty of it.
And does he? I was going to say that, like the ration packs off. Does he carry all the food for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, but didn't I see you have a backpack on?
No backpack. No,
Okay.
You can't carry backpack on a bicycle.
Okay, or just the water bottle. That's it.
Now, when you're hiking though through the through Chile, you have a guy also in support. You're by yourself.
My friend, yeah.
Yeah. Now, good news there is you don't have any Al Qaeda down in
No,
South America, so you don't have to worry. But you do have some pretty interesting little critters out
Mountain
there.
goats, right?
Yeah.
Well, as well as lots of llamas,
Mhm.
guanacos, and that sort of
Yeah.
lovely animals out there. Beautiful, beautiful landscape.
And it's right along the ocean too, isn't it? Part of it,
That's
or is that the western fringe?
No, that's the western front. So
Okay.
We started from Argentina, across to Chile, back to Argentina,
Wow.
and find our way to Bariloche, which is located in Argentina.
Wow.
Yeah, when you were cycling though, I mean, but there weren't any predatory animals you had to like look out for or whatever when you're, especially at night. Okay.
No, or the Sahara Desert. You're asking about.
I'm talking about Sierra, no,
Oh,
scorpions or whatever. Yeah.
No scorpions, yeah, but no other predators.
Okay.
Only camel that can survive.
Yeah, exactly who can live in that environment?
Did you get to a point where you just felt like I just want to give up?
No. Actually, I had quite a tough time during the sandstorm. I hit really badly, and I lost it a couple of times. But actually, I always thought the worst thing I can do is giving up.
Did radar pick up the sandstone? I mean, did you see it go, or did it just all of a sudden, bam, it just appeared?
It just appeared.
Yeah.
Wow, really? Wow.
Yeah.
I'm curious. So, Reza, are you spiritual at all? Are you into meditation or anything? Because focus and concentration is so important.
God when you're in the
Well,
Sahara.
I mean, seriously, some of the best athletes I know are guys that they get into the zone, so to speak, and they tap into something, and whether they're Buddhists or whether they're just practicing meditation. I don't know. I've heard stories about climbers that do this sort of thing. I mean, did you have any of that, or are you just all business? You've prepared and you're ready to go.
I'm not spiritual at all. I was getting to the zone is absolutely crucial. The first 20 miles every day, it's basically is a challenge to get to that sort of a mindset and to that mentality to just carry on and get into that sort of a consistency and get a rhythm. Once you get that rhythm, you can keep going.
And then some stuff I gotta think that there are times that you said I'm going to just push, get extra miles in for today, and then ease up the next day.
Yeah, exactly. It was when the climate was good, when you were feeling good, you can push yourself to the limit, and then you can make big miles on the days that the conditions are not great. So you just have to like kick back and slow down.
What was let me ask you a quick question before we go. What was the hottest that it got?
150 degrees.
Oh,
Wow.
man.
It was dry heat though. Go ahead.
You're in a sauna. I mean, literally, that's a sauna bath.
You said you didn't have any radar, but I mean, was there some kind of a trip tick or a gauge or something like that, so you knew how far you had gone, how much farther you had to go? I mean, you must have some sense of how much ground you're covering per day.
I had a trip computer as well as a GPS. So the GPS would tell me how far I'm going.
Did you at least have earphones to listen to music or
Oh
something?
yeah, absolutely. That's crucial.
Yeah.
But after a while, because one of the big challenge in crossing the Sahara was I was working in the financial industry and having 5 screens in front of me. You have your mobile phone. You have all this medium that is around you and constantly feeding you with information. And it just within 10 days you end up in Sahara and there's nothing there. And the only thing you can do is just listen to music. And after a while, that sort of a tranquility of the Sahara just put me in such an amazing mood that I've even need to listen to me.
When's your next adventure, or where is it going to be?
Well, I just got back from a big one, so I'm planning the next one.
Where's that going to be?
I'm thinking of. I'm having three things in the radar. First is cycling the Trans-Amazonian Highway.
North part of South America, through Amazon.
South
Right,
America, that's
right.
correct. Through the Amazon.
Right.
And from Ecuador throughout Brazil, from the source to the Atlantic Ocean.
Wow.
Well, if you want to cross the Antarctica, I can hook you up. I know where that is. Yeah.
How far would be going through Brazil?
3,500 miles.
Ooh, that's
Um,
like going across America and plus 500 more miles.
Yeah, probably.
You're going to need a little bit more gallons of water on that one.
Yeah. So there's plenty of water.
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
there.
Just watch out for those alligators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another one I'm thinking about is crossing the Yukon River, canoeing, and another one is actually rowing the Amazon.
Well, that sounds like fun.
Man, you're a beast.
He's seeing the world.
What
The
were
real-
your
the real world?
what were your emotions when you were close to finishing? And if you saw the I mean, my gosh, I can't even imagine what your thoughts were when you were.
Yeah, hopefully it wasn't the Mirage. Almost there.
Well, I have this image that, like, in the finish line, there's lots of people standing and cheering, and I have lots of cheerleaders, and TV companies, coming, and lots of camera flash and all of that on me. But actually,
Yeah, the
when I
lady
got
that
there-
kissed you at the top of the podium, like
Yeah.
the Tour de France.
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
Once when I got there, just only thing that made me happy was like my GPS showed me is latitude N18, and that's the end of the Sahara Desert, and that's it. It was me and this guy and a bunch of camels around, and so that was my.
So what's at the end of the Sahara Desert? I mean,
Sahara Desert? The Sahara
I mean-
Desert located between the two latitudes, which is N30 on the north, which is pretty much the same latitude as Cairo, and N18, which is the southern part of the Sahara Desert.
But when you get, I mean, suddenly are you in a bunch of cars and freeway, or I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, how do you? Where's the end of the Sahara
Well,
to where
this
you
is
go?
a definition by Guinness World Record, but I
Okay.
think the way that they came up with the definition is like a change of the landscape. So
Yeah.
Sahara leads itself to the savanna, so that's where you start seeing vegetation
Yeah,
and
yeah,
lives
exactly.
and
Yeah.
water.
Yeah, as soon as you saw that, you knew you were toward the end.
Besides the shower, what's the first thing you did when it was over?
Gorge myself
Uh-huh.
with a massive amount of good food.
Right.
You didn't get
right.
sick. You didn't get sick though.
No, I didn't get sick in this crossing the Sahara, but when I was cycling the entire Africa, I got sick.
Oh,
I
man.
got sick by malaria. And that was
Oh.
horrible.
Did it rain during the Sahara Desert ride?
No.
Don't know. I mean, I don't know. Never been to the Sahara Desert.
But
I know it gets cold
never
at night,
rains
does
there.
it?
Never rains.
Never rains there. Okay, it does get cold at night, though, does it?
Very cold, yeah.
Did you pull any female talent when you told them, hey, I just cycled across? All right.
They probably didn't believe you. You know.
You claim it's
They
a
probably
society,
said,
yeah.
hey,
That was
Brad.
so cool.
They probably said, yeah, right. Yeah.
That's a good conversation starter. That's
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, definitely.
That's just amazing. I mean, I look at it and I go, yeah, the guy's in good shape. No six pack. I mean, no. Me, I've got a keg. So I'm looking for the six pack, and I'm going, yeah, okay, maybe I'll bike this. No, I don't think so.
Some of the best athletes, we see it because we cover sports, Vernon and I, every day, competitive team sports. Some of the best athletes are the most innocuous looking guys. They look like people who just stepped off the curb. And some of the best buff guys are the biggest clumsy oafs that
Oh
you
yeah,
yeah.
well, we had a gold gym team softball.
Yeah.
Oh, it was just embarrassing. They look good in the uniforms.
Sure.
But they played. I mean, they just couldn't,
Couldn't move
muscle
around.
bound and
No.
stuff. Yeah.
No.
Hey, just for the average schmo listening or watching out there, what's something that you could throw out that somebody could do every day, cardiovascular wise?
Well, just cycle.
Just
Get out there and cycle. It's a pretty good thing to do. Just run.
or some kind of spinning, stationary
or
bike, something
swimming.
like that. and Swim.
No, I'm not a big fan
Yeah.
of swimming myself. You got to spend lots of time swimming until you really get a benefit. But I love cycling. It's pretty good. Once just fresh air, just get out there and sit on your bicycle.
Didn't you get sore though, or have your knees hurt or your back hurt?
Actually, cycling is pretty good for both of them, for both knees and back.
Make sure your seat's high enough, right?
Yeah. Once you get
I learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
The only part I don't like about cycling is, I hate to say this, but right down there, it starts to hurt a little bit.
Yeah,
the chafing.
Yeah.
See,
That's
Did
painful.
you have to stand up a little bit?
Yeah, I like to body surf, and that to me is. I was out in the water yesterday. It was the best. I'm so relaxed
That'll
after
keep you in
that.
good shape.
For his birthday.
Yeah, for my birthday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
happy
You gotta do
birthday.
it. Yeah, you
Exactly.
gotta do it, man.
Well, Reza Pakravan, thank you so much for joining us again. Give us your website one more time for people who want to actually watch you do the Sahara Desert.
www.cyclingsahara.com, and you go to the media tab and the documentary is there.
Gotta get you in the National Geographic. That's what we're gonna get
Yeah.
Reza.
Well, that's what I'm here for actually.
Yeah,
I have a
yeah.
documentary of my last trip.
And it's on the National Geographic TV channel.
No, I was interviewed by National Geographic, National Geographic Radio, but I have a documentary now in my hand, and I'm just trying to get it to them, but I find it quite difficult to find a commissioning editor.
National Geographic. This is Sports Econ 101.
It's all part of the great
That's it. Okay,
game
we're
of
gonna
life.
cut to our third and final commercial break. Again, the theme is horse racing's Triple Crown. In 1977 and 1978 were the only two consecutive years for Triple Crown winners. Now, we already talked about 1978 was affirmed. Who won the Triple Crown in 1977?
No, that's too easy.
The first 3 emails with the correct answer win a free 3-day 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Email edward@sportsecon101.com. The answer to this question: 1977 and 1978 were the only two consecutive years for Triple Crown winners. Which horse won it in 1977? Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101 will be right back with some closing comments.
Good old Seattle Slew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wonder what happened to that horse too.
Probably died.
I mean,
Yeah, but I think he fathered them.
That was the one Steve Coffin had ridden, right? Did he race
I'm not sure about that. I'm not a big horse racing fan, but for some reason I remember the 70s because those horses were pretty amazing.
Yeah.
See, Rose, Vern and I, we cover. He's TV, I'm radio. I don't work full time in it anymore, but we cover the local teams.
CBS local.
Yeah. And I worked at the local sports station for about 18 years. So we cover all the basketball, football, baseball, and college, high school. I think when you do what he does, you have to cover everything.
Yeah.
When you do what I do, you're more sort of specialize into the major league, major college, because that's what the people listening to the radio want to hear.
Like tomorrow, I have the Giants, but on Thursday, I'm doing a feature up in Nevada on a girl born with spina bifida, or whatever how you pronounce
Spinal
it.
bifida.
Thank you, spina bifida, and she swims for like a local swim team.
That's cool.
And
Wow.
she's been doing it since she was like 7. So
That's great. Yeah, the average sports fan loves those stories because they're human interest. It's like what you're doing. It's human interest.
and then Friday is football. I
Yeah.
think we're on the Raiders Friday.
I tell you, they're going to be
You
very
have a
interesting this year.
huge backlog of information here.
Well, both of us grew up as sports fans. I don't know about Vernon, but I wasn't a very good athlete. I was good enough to play high school ball at JV level. That's about it. But I love to talk and I love to watch sports. And my dad was a good athlete.
Mhm.
So I don't know what your background
I was just
Vernon.
young, black, and fast.
I
I was faster than the rest of the white kids.
Wait,
so
young,
yeah,
fast, what was the other one?
Huh?
You're
Young,
young,
black,
fast,
and fast. Yeah.
He's the quick little guy. Boom!
Scat back.
Okay, we only have a quick minute and a half, so any last? I've got a whole bunch of stuff we'll have to cover next time.
Well, I think Michael Sam, Sterling's trying to hang on to the cliffs.
God.
Okay, let's cover the Sterling because I was going to ask about Shelly Sterling wanting to fight.
God.
Mhm.
That's a whole.
Yeah, we'll just talk about it for a minute.
See Donald digging himself a deeper.
Oh, God, that was
When
embarrassing.
he went on with Anderson Cooper.
That was
Did you see
embarrassing.
Michael
God,
Sam,
keep
It was so bad.
Keep your mouth shut.
So bad. Silver had to step in and apologize again to
Yeah.
Magic Johnson. Man, that's
But why does
bad.
he have to apologize to him? Silver. I mean, what does
Because
he have
he's the
to?
commissioner of the NBA,
Yeah, but
and here's an owner.
Yeah.
That's
Taking shots at
that's
one of
taking
the
shots at one of the
Yeah, no, but
true.
he's not Sterling's baby.
And the thing was,
No, but at the first press conference, I don't know if you saw the first Sterling with the first Silver press conference.
Yeah.
Within the first 30 seconds, he apologized to Magic Johnson on behalf of the league because it was so embarrassing.
it was.
You know?
I hate to say it, to a certain degree, Magic Johnson ought to be embarrassed for his behavior because he wouldn't have AIDS if he wasn't screwing around so much. But that's besides the point.
Yeah.
You don't bring that stuff up. That's
Yeah.
between him and his girlfriends or whatever. That's his private business. But I mean,
Ready?
Yeah.
Go.
do the horn. Okay, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown, your host here, along with Vern Glenn,
What's up?
Bruce McGowan,
Ready to wrap it up.
and our special other guest, Reza Pakravan. Okay, now when we cut to the third commercial break, we asked this trivia question. 1977, 1978 were the only two consecutive years for Triple Crown winners. Which horse won it in 77?
See, what city does Richard Sherman play in?
That's
Seattle.
it.
Yeah.
Seattle Slew.
Seattle Slew.
That is
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Okay, before we cut out of here, just want to bring up a quick thing. Shelly Sterling is fighting to keep her share of the Clippers, even though she hasn't divorced Donald yet. So,
Yeah, but she's separated from him.
yeah.
They don't live together, and she doesn't like him.
Well, according to Adam Silver, the bylaws of the NBA, if your ownership is taken away from you, if you're voted out by the rest of the owners, that's it. Your relatives, kids, any of the partners that you have, silent majority connected with that, are
I think
just
that's
powerless.
very smart because
That-
what would happen if she got it and then decided, okay, come on, Donald, we're going
Right.
to
You know
put
what?
as GM.
Here's the thing. I think they're going to take this to court, and it's going to be ugly, and it's going to drag on because there's no precedent for this.
Well, yeah, because then theoretically you have the I would say the thought police, but it's all the PC stuff. What he said, he was an idiot. We
Yeah,
all
of
agree
course.
on that.
Yeah.
But it's like, gosh, and now
Well-
the one guy
well,
for
more
the
than-
Dolphins gets a
Richie Incognito.
Yeah.
no, not that one. He gets fined for just the thing.
Oh,
with Michael
for
Sam.
tweeting out
what he
yeah,
said
for just saying,
Michael Sam.
awful or
But
whatever
the
he
thing,
thinks, like,
the thing
gosh,
was,
we're-
I'm taking devil's advocate position here. The thing was, this conversation was supposed to be privately,
exactly.
and it was released apparently by the woman's friend, Donald Sterling's
Oh,
girlfriend's
okay.
friend,
Yeah.
and that's illegal.
Yeah. So
You know?
Yeah, but in the NBA, you don't need to go through the legal process
Sure.
to have your ownership taken away. I mean, you
Yeah.
fight it in court all you
Believe me.
want, but that's it.
It's
He,
just-
he will fight it in court. I guarantee
Oh,
you.
sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's just
And-
like baseball has,
Yeah.
antitrust. The antitrust doesn't apply to them.
And not to change the subject, you
Yeah.
mentioned Michael Sam. Let's praise the St. Louis Rams for
Absolutely.
taking Michael Sam in the 7th round.
Yeah.
Boy, Coach Fisher. I mean, you knew what he was doing. Hey, we're going to take
It'll
this
be-
guy.
It'll be great. Let him play. Let him play football.
That,
That's
de-
what he
that,
is, a football player.
that Rams defense is going to be tough next year.
Okay, guys, we got to cut out. Here's our thoughts for the day. The most dangerous high school and college sport is
Lacrosse?
cheerleading.
Oh, because of
They get more hurt there.
they're thrown up in the air and do the
Exactly.
flips.
Fall
Yeah.
off that pyramid. It's
Yeah.
hurt.
It
Yeah.
hurt time. And Australian rugby player Ben Sislowski felt the need to get medical help when his 4-month headache was not going away. The doctor found an opponent's tooth in his forehead. That's
Oh.
using the old noggin. All right,
man.
tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We'll be discussing sports from a business perspective and giving away more free vacations for answering sports trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Good night, America.
So long.
We're just thinking about it.